Today, we're diving into the story of the Army Welfare Housing Organization, or AWHO. It's a story about a crisis that has forced thousands of veterans into a second, unexpected battle, a fight for the very homes they were promised after a lifetime of service. And this quote just gets to the very heart of it, doesn't it? This isn't just about bricks and mortar. It's about a fundamental promise that was broken, and now a fight for basic dignity. So let's unpack how we even got here. All right, so our first section is called A Promise Betrayed, and that's exactly what we're going to look at. The huge gap between what AWHO was supposed to be and the tough reality that so many veterans are facing today. So let's go back in time. AWHO was founded way back in 1978 with a really noble goal. And in the early days, things were good. There were some genuine success stories, projects that were built on a spirit of collaboration. But then something changed. There was a turning point. The organization slowly shifted from being a service for veterans to acting more like a rigid, top-down military command. And that shift is what led to the absolute mess of systemic failures we're seeing today. And I want to be super clear here. These are not just a few isolated screw-ups. The source material shows a clear, nationwide pattern. We're talking massive delays, years behind schedule. We're talking serious construction defects, murky finances where nobody knows where the money's going, and contracts that are completely one-sided. It's no wonder this has led to lawsuits all across the country. The problem isn't just a few bad projects. It's baked into the system itself. So, the big question is, how did it get this bad? Well, the analysis suggests the system isn't just broken by accident. It's actually designed in a way that disempowers the very veterans it's supposed to be helping. The source material has a great name for it, the architecture of powerlessness. It all really boils down to two main pillars, two foundational flaws in AWHO's structure. And together, they create this massive accountability vacuum where veterans are left with pretty much nowhere to turn. Let's dig into what those pillars are. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. We're going to deconstruct exactly how this system is set up to consistently work against the interests of its own members. Killer number one starts with this phrase, no profit, no loss. Now, legally, this is just a simple accounting term. It means you sell something at cost, you don't add a profit margin. But here's the crucial part. It absolutely does not mean you're above the law. You still have to follow building codes and consumer protection laws, just like everyone else. But here's the twist, and this is where it gets wild. AWHO has taken this idea and, according to the source material, has basically weaponized it. They've used it over and over again in court as a shield, arguing that because they're no profit, no loss, they're immune to consumer laws and can't be held liable for delays or defects. The real kicker? The courts have consistently and uniformly rejected that argument. Then you've got the second pillar, the structure itself. Get this. AWHO is a civilian housing body, but it's run like a military unit. The leadership is made up of serving officers. So think about it. Accountability doesn't flow outwards to the homeowners, the people who actually paid for the houses. No, it flows up the chain of command. This creates a huge, undeniable conflict of interest. And wow, this table just lays out the real-world impact so clearly. The source calls it a hierarchy of grievances. Basically, how seriously your complaint is taken depends entirely on your former rank. If a lieutenant general complains, they get immediate action. But a junior officer, they might get a vague promise or just get ignored completely. It's shocking, right? Justice isn't based on rights, it's based on rank. Okay, so if the whole system is structurally flawed, what's the fix? The good news is the analysis doesn't just point out the problems. It actually proposes a really clear structural solution that's all about democratic principles. And this makes you think, right? If veterans suing AWHO one by one isn't fixing the root cause, it's just putting a Band-Aid on a few individual cases, then what can fix a fundamentally broken system? The answer has to be something systemic. And here is that systemic answer, laid out side by side. On the left, you've got the current top-down military command model. And on the right, you have the proposed cooperative model, and it is a night and day difference. You're going from a kind of autocracy to a true democracy, where the members have control, everyone gets a vote, and the finances have to be transparent. And, you know, the best part about this whole idea is that these fixes are basically automatic. They aren't just suggestions. These are legally required features of a cooperative society. Suddenly, financial transparency is mandatory. Accountability is real because members can vote the management in or out. That whole hierarchy of rank, gone. It's one member, one vote. And maybe most importantly, it gives veterans real legal protection and oversight. It's a game changer. So that brings us to our final section, reclaiming honor through rights. Because this is about so much more than fixing a housing organization. It's about restoring the honor and dignity these veterans deserve by simply enforcing their basic rights. At the end of the day, this whole thing is way bigger than a housing dispute. It's really a test case for how India treats its veterans and whether these huge, powerful institutions can actually be held accountable. The principles on the line here, well, they matter to everyone. And if you need any more proof of just how systemic this is, just look at this number, 25. The analysis found over 25 different violations of the law in AWHO's own standard documents. We're talking about everything from the Real Estate Act to the Consumer Protection Act. This isn't just a mistake, it's a systemic disregard for the rules. And that all leads to this final, really powerful question. These veterans spent their entire careers defending democracy for the nation. Isn't it about time they got to experience those same principles, transparency, accountability, a voice in their own homes? It's a thought that really sticks with you.